So the project size at EIB does matter. We are not equipped to finance very small projects. So the main activity of the bank for small size projects is relegated to the banking system. So we open specific lines of credit with our bank partners, and they on-lend those funds to small and medium-sized enterprises, including in the energy sector. So what is the definition of a small project for us? It is a project of up to 25 million euro in total project cost, of which the bank can finance 50%. So the EIB commitment would be 12.5 million euro. Anything above 25 million euro in total project cost, the bank can bilaterally look at those projects and finance out of its own financing. For large-scale projects, I mean, this is our bread and butter. We finance large-scale projects throughout European Union and outside, and this is our specialization. Thank you.
Okay. So I now come to Mr. Cohen, Gershon Cohen from Lloyds Bank in UK. Perhaps you'd like to comment on the same issue and, of course, expand this to another relevant area. I mean, really, I mean, you're a huge bank. You have a lot of experience on infrastructure funding. Do you have separate units? How do you go about it?
Okay. Costis, look, there's a different way to approach the question. The costs of financing are a certain amount. And as you scale up the project, the costs do not scale up in proportion to the size of the project. So if you are a government or if you're a population, you are looking for the industry to create the best value power supply at the lowest possible cost, you have to find the right equilibrium between the size of the project, because it's the size of the project that will absorb the majority of the upfront costs. I don't believe it is effective to do small projects. The EIB have a different rationale for approaching project financing of energy. The real question to ask is it good value to do a series of small projects? The only way, in my view, you can do a series of small projects is if you standardize everything so that you have the lowest cost and approach when you're executing the projects. So in the UK, for example, there is a large number, sorry to digress into renewables for a moment, apologies, but a very large number of small renewable energy projects. There is a political agenda to create a lot of renewable energy in the United Kingdom, and these are small projects, and usually I would say this is not effective. This is not something my bank should be doing, because I don't believe actually it is good value because of the upfront costs. However, with the help of EIB and with standardization and standard approach, it is possible to look at a series of small projects provided one doesn't deviate from the standard approach. But I leave one caveat on this concept, and that's planning. Planning does not appear to be something in Europe or the United States or Australia that you can standardize. Now, if you are starting from a clean piece of paper, or you are looking afresh at how to create best value for the population in terms of energy financing of projects, one must deal with planning. If you can standardize that approach, if government can sequester land, and if that is possible in democracy, to make this easy and low cost, then I believe it's achievable. So you need templates, you need standardization, and you need a rigorous and smart approach to planning if you're going to do smaller projects. It's quite straightforward. The bigger projects will absorb the majority of the costs, so the economies of scale are there.
Thank you, Mr. Cohen. Now I'll turn to Mr. Slavko Carić from Erste Bank. Would you share the same views as far as the scale and the breakdown of smaller, medium, high projects? Where are you feeling more comfortable as a bank, which are already a high presence in the region and very active?
Well, I would divide our financing capacities into three groups. One is by a local bank, and if we take ex-Yugoslavia, for example, I think that our capacities locally would be up to 5, maybe mostly 10 million euros per country per project. So we are talking about then financing renewable energy projects, small hydro plants, biogas, biomass, etc. If we're talking about our group, my estimate would be that per project we would be having appetite to go up to 100 million euros. So we are talking about smaller projects. If we're talking about extending our balance sheet alone. And then if we would be participating together with an IFI, then, or I would take Czech Republic and Austria as an exemption to the rule, because these markets and these countries are, they have much better rating, and there is a larger willingness of banks, not only ours, to participate in those projects. Maybe there we can go to a few 100 million euros. If we're talking about larger projects than that, then we're talking about PPPs, we're talking about participation together with IFIs, then we're talking, and we do have experience in the region in issuing bonds, which would cover larger investments. We did quite recently issue bonds for different energy producers in the region. We're talking about share issues as well. We did so for Verbund and OMV in Austria. And then we're talking about syndications, obviously, on a larger scale. So the larger the project, more complex is the financial approach. And I would say a larger crowd is needed to fulfill the financing needs.
Okay. That's very useful, because we're now talking about a size order of about 100 million, which I think there is common agreement. This is a very desirable type of project to be involved.